Put it on silent.
I still haven't done that, girls. Yeah,
To hear you.
oh well,
See.
part of the interview.
You ready?
Oh God. Oh Lord, our family is so much love.
Okay. We are here, peeling back the layers with the Other Woman magazine. I am Lavender Shedrick Williams, and to my right, their left, right? Well, this person
It's
right
one
here
or the other.
is Deborah Shedrick, artist Deborah Shedrick, also with Shedrick Studio. And did I already say you were my sister? We're sisters.
We are sisters.
She's my older sister. And we are here because we had a conversation about a week ago or a couple of weeks ago, and some topics came up that I thought would be beneficial for other people to hear. Deborah is a very private person. So this is an exclusive interview. I'm honored that she would open up herself and allow me to peel back some layers of her life.
Hopefully, hopefully, yes.
Hopefully, yes. We're going to peel back something for this hour. So, you all know her as Deborah Shedrick, the artist. Now, Deborah has done so many. Can you all hear me? If you can hear me, somebody say yes or type yes.
Is there anybody on?
Yeah.
Good. Thanks for coming.
Yes, thank you all for joining us. If you can hear me, type yes or I can't hear you. I'm just sharing some of Deborah's work. Yes, thank you, Robert Congress. Thank you, Robert.
Thanks, Robert.
So I'm just sharing some of Deborah's work. This is from a previous Tom Joyner
Family reunion, yes, ma'am.
family reunion cruise, or the reunion,
The family reunion.
the family reunion.
Yeah, that
You-
was held on land at the Gaylord Hotel.
Okay, so many years ago, but you still
Do those.
do those, yeah. So this was in Birmingham for the
Amtrak commission to do a mural in honor of the Pullman Porters.
Pullman Porters. Yeah, if you're not familiar with the Pullman Porters, you might want to Google that. That was a lesson for me. You also do book covers. That was my first book cover that you did. My favorite, We Snap in Silence. I'm just sharing some of the art. So you all know that's one of my favorite pictures of you. That's in Birmingham.
Yeah,
You're sitting on,
Amtrak.
yeah, at Amtrak, getting the vision, the vision, the vision. So we are here because, as you know, Deborah's art, there's a part of her, a side of her that you don't know, that behind the scenes of the creative process that you might not be familiar with. And I wasn't familiar with it, even though she's my sister. So why don't we just pull back a few layers and share? So I guess first off, Deborah, Deborah?
I have more than one name, so please disregard whatever comes out of her mouth.
Okay, thank
I answer to
you.
all.
Thank you.
Okay,
Okay, Deb.
thanks.
Why did you agree? Why did you agree to open up?
I'm at a point in my life where um, opening up is not so crucial for me. Very private. I don't let a lot of people into who I really am. I'm not a terrible person. I consider myself, easygoing and nice, but there's always a boundary with people. I don't feel comfortable with letting people get down with to the nitty gritty of who I am. Most people take advantage of you when you are a nice person. I've always been um, taken advantage of or tried to be taken advantage of, and I would know this about people, but I wouldn't let them know that I knew. I always let people get as far as they think they can go, and then I just close it off. So I'm at the age now where um, I really don't care anymore. I don't know why I don't care anymore, but what you need to know, ask me, and I'll do the best I can. Considering all these years I haven't, my son said to me a long time ago. He was a teen. He says, "Well, why don't you ever talk about your past life? Why don't you ever talk about the things that you did before?" And it wasn't that I didn't want him to know, but I'm very closed in and protect. It's just who I am. It's nobody that I try to be. I'm just that way. If that answered your question.
It did, and because you are my sister, our family will fight for one another. We will
Yeah.
physically beat somebody down. We have each other's backs like that. So I thought it was good for people to know there was a little lapse. Is that the word in your, not a lapse, but you didn't create,
I would call it a lapse.
there was a lapse recently in her creative process. And as her sister, I wanted people to know, she has a life. People forget when you have a business, when you're an entrepreneur, they forget you have a life outside of your business.
Totally separate.
Totally separate. So to be able to produce whatever your craft is and manage and navigate your life, that plays a big part on your mental health. Um, just watching you, I know art is your therapy. So when you were not creating,
And being in therapy.
yeah, and being in therapy, I knew it was, if I could just get you to paint,
Yeah.
you would be okay. But it was deeper than that. And a lot of it is contributed to your youngest son.
Oh yeah, it was. My children have always been my main focus. I have always felt that if everything was okay with my children, that I would be okay. As long as they're okay, I'm okay. And then I took a page out of my mother's book. We have always come first in her life. We are the center of our parents' life.
Life.
It's like, do you have a life? Why are you always
You are my life.
in my life?
Yeah.
We are their lives.
Mm-hmm.
So that just transferred on.
Which is a blessing.
Yeah. I'm in my 60s and my parents are still my Santa Claus. So
They still feed us.
I
They
can go
still.
I can go into their home and I can open the refrigerator and I can get whatever and I can sit down and eat and my father is happy.
Hmm.
So I've been blessed that way and I guess I transferred that on to my kids. And when my kids weren't right, I've never been right. You know, my oldest son had a debilitating, life-threatening disease that I had to go through, and
Hmm.
we were triumphant thanks to God.
Hmm.
Now my youngest son is going through the issues that he is going through, and I have to say to myself, we will be triumphant thanks to God,
Hmm.
even though most days I'm like, where is God?
Hmm.
So,
Or
yeah,
where is he,
where is he?
Denrique?
My son.
Your
Oh, yes.
son.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Plenty of sleepless nights, but I do have a company to run. Sometimes I would get it done, and sometimes you just have to hold up your hands and say, enough is enough, because if I don't have the mental health to help my family, nobody is going to help my family like I am. So, you know, there's certain things that you have to be conscious of and realize it all falls in my lap no matter what happens. It's in my lap. And people may give you their condolences, they may give you their I'm sorry this happened to you, but that's all that they can give you. They can't give you anything else. So you have to do what is best for you. And I don't know if I was doing what was best for me, but I was doing what I knew how to do.
Now, you did agree to share about your oldest son, just for the sake, your youngest son,
Mhm.
for just for the sake of those who might be watching, because I know two or three mothers are
Mhm.
watching who have children who are addicts.
Yeah.
A lot comes with that. So, watching my sister deal with her baby boy,
Mhm.
who is a drug addict and practically, I don't want to say just ripped your life apart,
Mhm.
um, it upset me.
Mhm.
So, I mean, he has been in and out of jail, in and out of rehab. And when I saw what it was doing to you,
Mhm.
it bothered me. So I couldn't understand why you kept putting up with it and letting him tear you down when it's not going to change
Mhm.
unless he went to rehab. But you stayed in there. You are there
Mhm.
for him.
Mhm.
Um, and you say you will always be there for him. What gives you the strength to watch him do that to his life and knowing that it is practically tearing your life apart?
It is so complicated that you can't put your finger on it. When he was born, I was blessed. He gave us the most happiest life, and I'm talking
Hmm.
about everyone in our family.
He
He
was a joy,
gave so
much,
much joy,
yeah, in life.
and I was so honored that I was chosen to be his mother. He had quirkiness about him, and I would always say, I am the only one that could be this boy's mother. And what it was telling me that prepare yourself
Mm.
because you are the only one that can be his mother. I um I don't want to put my child on a pedestal, um, but if I want to, I can.
Hmm.
He came out of my coochie, not
Hmm.
yours. So I can do whatever I feel is best for him and what is best for me. I think I lost my train of thought, but
Now, he followed in your footsteps.
Enrique is an artist.
He's an amazing artist, and some of his work you cannot tell the difference. You have to look at it real close. It's like, okay, is that his art or yours?
Mm-hmm.
He's traveled with you when he was
Yeah.
young. He followed you.
And most of my friends have known him since he, was, toddling, is that a word? Toddling after me.
Hmm.
So he knows a lot of people in the art world. He knows how to make the money in the art world. He has gone to um, undergraduate school to study art. So,
And he's the smartest one in the family.
and he's the smartest one in the family. So when he chose the path that he is on, I had to really talk to myself and really make myself to understand that it's not your fault. Because I was like, this must be my fault. I may be a great mother to little kids, but to young adults, I suck.
To adult children.
So it took me for a loop, and you go through stages when your children do not live up to what you thought they were going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Because we all knew that Denry was going to be what he is not now. Let me just say it like that. You know, he gravitated to people that didn't have anything. He would say, I get along with everybody. And I'm like, why do you want to be around those type of people?
Mm-hmm. He's got a big heart. He's got a huge heart. Even when I saw him today, he said, "Where are you guys going? Do you need any help?" So he has a gift of help, but because of his addiction, he's limited to what he can do. But Deborah, it wasn't just your son. You recently lost mobility of your money, your hand. You had an accident with your hand. Then
Yeah,
your car went out on you, so you're
I'm
without
walking.
transportation. Um, so it was like one thing after
Yeah,
another, and you are preparing for the Tom Joyner cruise coming up in May.
yeah, and our aunt, which she lived with us and she was raised with us. She passed um, this past November, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was a blow. So all these things were coming at me.
And we have a father.
We have a father with dementia. Which um, we say we have accepted, but you know, every time something happens with him, it's like you taking 10 steps back and realizing your father has dementia. He is not the genius that you were brought up with.
He's the smartest dementia patient we've ever met.
Yeah. Sometimes I think he has selective thinking.
And then the mother, the caretaker that we try to give respite, it's just, it's one thing after another.
Yeah.
So,
I'm sorry.
so your creative process to continue, Deborah, I don't want to say it amazes me because I've watched you, but during that lapse, I mean, so if anybody out there, is anybody still waiting on
There's
something?
so many people waiting on things for me, and I apologize, but I am doing the best that I can
to hold on.
And to hold on. Mm-hmm. And I'm sorry, my mental health has to come first before anything that I owe you. You will get it more later than sooner, but you will get it. I'll try to make amends the best way I can, but this is the situation that I find myself in, and this is how I choose to deal with it. Um,
If you don't have your mental health, if you're not aware of that and know when to stop,
yeah, you have to.
you won't have anything. You won't be able to create anything.
Because trying to appease everyone, you appease no one. Um, I found myself asking, even if I had had a mental breakdown, it's like, have I had a mental breakdown? And if I have not, I want to do my best not to go there because I don't know what it feels like. But when you're living in darkness from day to day, trying to make the right decision for your family, that is very draining. And my hat is off to any artist that has gone through depression because it is nothing to play with.
And then to put on that face to perform.
Oh yes, I could have won Grammys, Academy Awards, whatever you win for Best Actress because I have been the actress, even in my family settings. I'm not the kind of person that will put my sorrows onto another person, and I try to uphold my end of whatever's going on, but it is, you're being an actress most of the time, even to yourself, to hold on. I don't mean to be on here, blah, 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 woe is me, but
People are the ones who are watching and still watching, they are able to relate because everybody has something. Everybody has something. So this book here, When All Hell Breaks Loose, you did the artwork for the cover. And there's also artwork, your artwork on the inside. Now, this was when all hell broke loose
for you.
for me. And then also the whole We Snap in Silence. This was my story, but look at the cover. You know, so it was almost like you were being prepared. It was already, it's just odd how, like, almost full circle. So you continue to do what you do. You said, have I had a mental breakdown? But like I said earlier, how we will fight for each other. I remember when we were in Pensacola doing that fundraiser, and there were so many people in line waiting for your product, so many people. And then it came down to shipping and delivering the product. And you were like, where's the list of the people that need it? I'm like, I don't know where the list is. I don't know where this, you know, it's just little things like that. But nobody cares what you're going through. And they want their merchandise.
And to say, let me add that I have had a lot of lapses in my thought process. Very, very forgetful. That is a symptom of overload. And I was even afraid that I had early dementia. And I would not tell anybody that having this stuff, it was like I'd wake up the next day and remember something. I'm like, damn, how long ago was that? I was supposed to have done that. So dealing with that was an add-on to other things that I was dealing with. So don't take your forgetfulness lightly. That means slow the hell down and sit down. You gotta sit. You gotta be. You gotta be.
I like that. Just be.
You gotta be, yeah, and let your spirit speak to you. Because if you don't sit still and just be, you can't hear anything. Because most of the time when people were giving me advice, it was la 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 That's all I heard. Like like the Charlie Brown teacher. What? How did she go? Blah blah. Womp, 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 womp. That's
That's what it said. That's what we sound like.
yeah. It was like okay. All I heard was womp womp womp. Thank
So
you.
you have to
Yeah.
shut it down,
You have
and
to
that's
shut it
that
down.
lapse
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
your clientele, your
Oh yeah.
customers, where's my product, where's my art, all of this. You were doing the best that you could. So I just want to let any entrepreneur, business owner know,
Mhm.
even for myself, I'm always asked, when's the next issue coming out, or I haven't gotten my issue yet. And, you know, I'm doing the best that I can. So it's, you do what you can do, and they're not going anywhere. And if they do,
And if they do, please forgive, but it happened.
hmm
It will probably happen again.
So what are you doing to, let me read this right quick.
Okay.
I want to read this because this goes on to, kind of goes along with what we're talking about, dealing with people who want something from you. This is from a book that was recommended to me by the editor of my first book. This is called Untamed by Glennon Doyle. And if you're reading, you've probably heard of her. She's a best-selling writer. She says, recently, my friend Erica called my cell phone. I will never understand why people insist upon calling my cell phone. It's such an aggressive action to take, calling someone. Each time my phone rings, I have a heart attack, like my pocket's on fire and a tiny siren is going off. It's also like to take this opportunity to address texting. Texting is better than calling. It is for me. Unless you are one of those people who doles out texts like IOUs, unless you believe that whenever you feel like it, you can just poke at me, ping me, jump into my day like, hi, and feel so entitled to a response that the next time I see you, you will arrange your face in an injured manner and say quietly, hey, you doing okay? I never heard back. At this moment, I have 183 unread texts. Texts are not the boss of me, and neither is anybody who texts me. I have decided once and for all that just because someone texts me does not obligate me to respond. If I believed differently, I'd walk around all day feeling anxious and indebted, responding instead of creating. So,
This is not to shake the finger at anyone,
anybody.
but it's just truth. Um, it's how she felt. And so she expressed it. So please don't take this live the wrong way.
But think about anyone.
Yeah.
Anyone that you deal with, not just this. This is Deborah sharing this for enlightenment. It's not just her story. This is many creatives' stories, not just business people, but people who like to create. Get in the people who like to consider.
Okay.
People who like to create, you have to have that oneness with the creator. You have to have that oneness to know when to slow down, when to turn the phone off, when to shut it down for your mental health. So all this beautiful art behind me, the beautiful art in your home, if you have some of Deborah's art, know that it wasn't just something that.
And it wasn't on a timeline. I think that's the most destructive thing for me is to
Have a timeline, a deadline.
have a deadline. If it can be organic, no matter how long it takes, I'm at peace. And if not, I am at war
With yourself.
with myself. And it's going to look like bullshit when I finish because of the war. So, yeah, just give a little grace. And if you already have, please give a little more.
Hmm.
Uh,
So I was going to ask the question, what are you doing moving forward? If you know all this, I mean, we talk about what we put in our bodies. We talk about nutrition all the time. We talk about
yes,
drinking water. We
you have
talk,
to take care of yourself. The number one thing is what you eat and how you exercise, how you rest. It all,
and what if you don't feel like doing any of that? We battled today with about what we were going to eat.
do the best you can. Do the best you can. I have good days and I have some awful days where I will put anything in my mouth just to satisfy my hunger and to be done with it, knowing I could have done better. But
And not even to satisfy hunger, Deborah. Sometimes it's emotional eating.
I am the number one emotional eater. I told my mother, I was sitting in front of her mirror in her hair studio room, and it's like, I've turned into a block. Where's my shape? So,
In her
yeah.
refrigerator.
So, yeah, I look like the refrigerator. So, so you really have to be careful about how you treat yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had to say that I need to treat myself better because this is going to get worse. And you see yourself getting worse and worse and worse and worse, having multiple things to deal with in a day. But I have decided that this is the life that I have been given, and I will do the best that I can with it. Um, Nothing lasts forever. It's going to change one way or the other. Prepare yourself for that.
Okay.
Yeah, prepare
With,
yourself
with,
for
with
that.
saying that, Deborah, nothing lasts forever. Going back to Denrique,
Mm-hmm.
nothing lasts forever. Unless he goes to rehab, it's not going to change unless he makes a.
And then going to rehab doesn't mean it's going to change.
Exactly. Some people in and out of rehab for years. So
Yeah,
how you said prepare yourself for that.
I,
Like,
I have prepared myself, or I think I have prepared myself for whatever is put in my lap. I know I have to deal with it the best way possible. I, I say I can't be afraid of the worst, but how I deal with that is going to be on me. You're not in this world alone. How you act affects everyone around you. Um, and I don't want to put that on my shoulders either, but there are other people I have a responsibility to,
mm-hmm,
other than
mm-hmm,
my son.
mm-hmm.
But he is a big part of my responsibility. I will never, ever, ever say I'm going to leave him, or uh, that's not going to happen. That's just not me. I think you have to know yourself first and know what you can deal with. I can deal with the hell on the of the day, knowing that I saw my son today, and I got to talk to my son today. I got to um, I got to fuss at my son today. I got to yell at him today, but I got to do something with him today, and that is my saving grace.
How do you create in the midst of the hell?
You have to um, get it when it comes.
Get what when it comes to creative?
Get the creative juices because they haven't been coming often, but I'll set a time to do something, and if that time falls out the way that I need it to be, I'm happy, and if it doesn't, I have to know to set that aside because it wasn't the time. I wanted it to be the time. I thought it was going to be the time, but it wasn't the time. And to wait till that next wave comes, you know, and try to catch that wave. But at this point in my life, I try not to force anything. I will not force anything.
You are in the process of writing a book. In the midst of everything that we said, you're a son that is addicted to drugs, cars, no transportation right now. Your hand that you're learning to paint with your other hand.
Oh my God.
Your the family issues that are going on. It's a lot. It's a lot, but your connection. I want to read something else because your book, you allowed me to read some of your book. And when I saw this, it reminded me of, it sounds just like you. So your strength, there's a spiritual part of you that you have to have something, you have to have an anchor. So this is what reminded me of you. Actually, this is what you do. The heart, let's see. The heart of creativity is an experience of the mystical union. The heart of the mystical union is an experience of creativity. Those who speak in spiritual terms routinely refer to God as a creator, but seldom see creator as the literal term for artists. I am suggesting you take the term creator quite literally. You are seeking to forge a creative alliance, artist to artist, with the great creator.
Oh, yes.
Accepting this concept can greatly expand your creative possibilities. Now, this book, The Artist's Way, A Spiritual Path to Higher Creativity, this was actually gifted to you, and I received one from one of your clients. What was her name? Antoinette Hamilton.
Yeah, Hamilton.
Antoinette Hamilton.
Yeah.
Antoinette, if you're watching, thank you. I refer to this book quite often, and I've even put some things and some quotes in the Other Woman magazine. But Deborah, that was you. What I read is basically how your painting comes to fruition. And you say that all the time, that you connect with your creator and you just allow his spirit
to work through me. And that is also the basis of my life journey. I am not a very religious person where I'm going to church and I'm saying, you know, have a blessed day. And I'm not that. My relationship with my creator is also very private. And, you know, I consult my creator on everything. If I speak it loudly or not.
Your colors, I mean, this is a workshop, the Torn and Transformed. So all of this that you have gone through, Deborah, is the whole concept behind Torn and Transformed.
Correct.
So Torn and Transformed is a workshop using tissue paper. I love Torn and Transformed because the art, the completed piece, whatever the piece is from torn pieces. And it's like the torn pieces of one's life.
Correct.
Comes together. You may not see it right now, like your life. It seems like the pieces are falling apart. We don't see it, but in the spiritual sense, it's coming together.
And this came to me the other day. It's like, imagine the bow and arrow, and you're pulling the bow back, and the bow is being stretched and stretched. and stretched. That's how I feel. Right now I'm being stretched, but the bow is going to soar one day. It's going to be let go and it's going to fly. And
because you've already set the foundation. You have been in the art world. First of all, I got to speak for my sister. She is not just an Alabama artist. She is world, I always get that word wrong, renowned, world renowned. She has art pieces in hotels in various states, cities and states. She's connected with the Tom Joyner Foundation. She's preparing for Tom Joyner Cruise in May. You've done book covers. You've been commissioned by the so many different organizations. She does fundraisers for nonprofits, and you've been painting for 30 something
years.
30 something years.
I started my actual professional career when Denrick was in the womb. So,
wow.
Yeah. So we have a mother-son relationship. We have
that no one will understand. No one will ever understand.
But you know, he can be hell sometimes, but he can still make me laugh, which is great. You know, that's my son. He's only my son, and hell or high water, I will see him through this. Whatever way it goes, I'm accepted. I'm in acceptance of his lifestyle, and I only pray for the best for him, and it's in God's hands. That's how I can sleep at night, knowing that's not my child. It's not my child. That's God's child.
You mentioned how important rest was. How do you rest when those nights where you don't know where he is or what he's doing? Or
to tell you the truth, I can rest. I can sleep. I may wake up, but I can go back to sleep. And knowing that that's all that I could do. You know, just know you're only human. He's only human. And whatever you're going through, you are only human. And you can only do the human thing to do and give it rest.
Now, you have attempted to place him in rehab a few times.
And he has gone.
And he has gone.
Yeah.
And he has left.
Yeah, he has left some institutions that are there to help him mentally. But he is bent on doing it his way. And he is a grown man, and you can't control grown men.
You can't control grown folks.
You can't control grown folks.
I think about those who are raising raising adult children or have adult children living with them. You can't control them, but if they're under your roof, as we say, you follow by my rules, you abide by my rules. That doesn't necessarily happen in your house.
And that is so easy to say and so hard to implement. It's like, what are you going to do? Whoop a grown man? That's not going to happen. I'm not even going to go that far to upset my peace. I don't even know what to tell you, but it's almost, what is the word? A phenomenon. It's almost what's a word where it's not in your control, but it happens?
Inevitable.
What happens is going to happen, whether you are forceful or not. I just have to let what is meant to happen.
You can't try to
Oh
manipulate
no,
life.
no, you can't.
You have to
You
let.
can't. It's like I have become a totally different person in the last 6 to 9 months. It's like the things that I thought I was going to do, I don't do anymore.
Mm.
The things that I thought I was going to say, I had no desire to say. I've had to come to peace with me. I had to like me. I had to understand me, and that takes a lot of quietness on your part. And you have to dig deep to find out who you really are. Because you don't know how to act until you know who you are. You definitely don't know who they are. You better try to find out who you are.
And we don't know who we are until we are in these particular situations. Correct. So you can say what you would do.
Oh, yeah.
And then your character will surface and you'll be like, okay, okay.
Oh, yeah.
I had a friend tell me, you really don't know your character. I'm like, yes, I do. And I was placed in a situation. It's like, okay, who is that? Did I really do that? So moving forward, Deborah, for those who are potential customers, clients, you have art in some museums and galleries, should I say, and working on this book. Mental health awareness is very important. And I believe because you put your mental health first.
I put it on paper first.
You put it on paper first?
Yeah.
What are you saying?
As I write, I'm always referring to my mental health. It's like the writing and the writing is a form of treatment.
It's therapeutic.
It's therapeutic.
Writing is therapeutic.
It is so therapeutic that the things that I needed to rise and come forward in me came forward through that writing. I got to understand myself. And
you're just writing your thoughts. You're not trying to write with any form or anything right now.
I am just writing what comes to me.
Yeah. Just right.
Just right. Just right. That's all you have to do is just write.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, like you always say, don't die with a book in you. That'd be the worst thing you could do.
Oh, Lord, the thought of it. You've got some stories, too. You have got some. This girl right here has got some stories to tell. Unbelievable stories.
I'm reading my second book.
From where you've come from. And you mentioned time. You don't do good with the schedule or time restraints. I got to share this. This was many years ago. Before I was married and had children, I was able to travel to some of Deborah's art shows. I loved it. The one thing I didn't love is this woman is late everywhere she goes. She will have you late. Time is not an issue with Deborah. Time has never been an issue with her. So if you're going somewhere with her, don't expect to be there on time because she doesn't give up.
Just expect to get there.
Just expect to get there. Yeah. So even tonight, anyway, we're not going to discuss tonight. Let me go back to the story. So I think we were in New Orleans for this particular show, and I was young, and I was just learning art and learning, your process and how you set up and everything. This girl said, I'm going up to the room to take a nap. I'm like, what? We're in the middle of a show, okay? A big show. I don't know prices. I don't know nothing. She didn't care. She went upstairs to take a nap. Do you remember that?
No, but naps are a big part of my life.
Okay, so for this person here, the way I'm built, that doesn't make any sense to me. That makes no sense to me. How in the world are you going to take a nap in the middle of your show? But she did it. She didn't miss anything. I was able to handle what happened. She came down and all happy. I'm like, how do you do that? How do you do that? But she just kind of goes with the flow. She just kind of has her own schedule, and it would be wonderful if we could live like that. But society has, we have to be places. We have to be at work on time. We have deadlines. You don't care about any of that
It's not
stuff.
that I don't care. It just doesn't. Um,
Compute.
it really doesn't compute. I have no sense of other people's urgency, and it's not because I'm being difficult, but my um, perception of time is so unlike
The rest of the world.
the rest of Earth. I don't even feel like I belong on this planet when it comes
Time.
to time. I I feel like I came from someplace else, but it has never. Um, I got put out of a couple places, but but it has never affected me like it affects everyone else. And so I'm thinking, well, maybe I should just let things happen.
You were built
But I was
for,
born that way.
you were born that way, and you were
Mm.
strategically created to be Denrique's mother. You know what I'm saying? We all were. But for the life that you live and the journey that you're on, you were built for it.
Nobody can put up with that. But it seems I could like fold it like a nice folded sheet and pillowcase and put it in its place where other people would, uh, mm-mm.
Or just put him out.
Yeah, yeah. And I have put him out before, but you talking about I can't sleep at night, not knowing where my child was the most excruciating pain. I can't even imagine someone losing their child. I can't even imagine it. And one day it may happen to me, and I may be able to help someone through that. But I saw one of my best friends lose her child, and it killed her. It killed her little by little, and she died. And when I looked down at her in her casket, she was at peace. It was like she didn't even look like she was dead. She was at peace, and that like taught me a lesson. It's like you can't tell anybody how to feel about anybody else. You can't do that. You can't do that.
And nobody can tell you how to deal with your son,
No
because I
one.
know your family. I'm for
And my
one.
friends.
Yes, your friends. You should do this. You should
Yeah.
do that. You know, put him in
Yeah.
rehab. Put him out. You know, this is your life. You're gonna be broke the rest of your life. You know, spending money on rehab. You are making your own decisions.
Yeah.
But there is
That's it.
Larry Poncho Brown is another world-renowned
That's my
artist
friend.
and a friend, a very close friend of yours. Actually, he's a family friend. He says most artists have a different relationship with time.
Yeah.
Poncho, I'm going to have to. You do a lot of interviews and stuff. You got a story to tell. Everybody has a story. Everybody has a story to tell. But Poncho is dealing with some stuff right now that and moving like he's not dealing with anything. Artists are just different. You artists are different. I mean, artists, the painting artists, not, writing. You all are different anyway. So you have not only a relationship, different relationship with time, Poncho, but with people, with life, with everything. And Poncho is the one responsible for you. Um,
Forging on.
yeah,
or
Yeah,
doing with
yeah,
different projects.
yeah. He knows
Yeah.
that art is your therapy
Yeah.
also, and will try to get you to stick with it,
Yeah.
to stay with it.
Yeah.
So we are just about out of time. I want to thank you guys for it's because we got our therapy through our work. Yeah. And you know, the same with me as a writer. My therapy comes from my work. And the good part about it is that I always say, do something that you enjoy doing, then it's not work.
Yeah.
I never feel like, I always say when somebody says, what are you doing? I'm working, because that's what they can relate to. But I'm doing something that I enjoy. So they say, okay, well, you're a workaholic. That's all you do. That's how I live and breathe. That's what keeps me going. I'm fortunate to be doing something that I really, really love. Okay, let's see if I can read this one because this thing is so far back. I remember seeing Lavender at Essence at the art show. After I can relate to the journey
Ooh, that's been a long time.
with you. Yeah, that was a long time. That was a long time. I've been at Essence Festival with your son. The best advice was to love another way and get boundaries. That helped me. One day I will have to share into, yes, you do. Gloria, Gloria had, everybody has something. Everybody has something. But like I said, there's certain mothers that we're going to be watching that deal with adult children. And I'm happy you shared because we don't go through stuff just for ourselves. And it's like, why are you keeping anything to yourself? I mean, the Other Woman magazine, in each issue, I share a part of my life. Um, I don't believe God brought us through or puts anything on us just for us to learn a lesson, but we're all connected. We all have the same life source. We all breathe the same oxygen. We are one. We are one. And when we realize that connection with each other, it's not like we're in competition with one another. We not complete one another, but what's the word?
We, what is not complete, but we
Compliment.
compliment.
We
That's
compliment one another
Yeah.
as human beings. So share your mess. Your mess. Gloria used to have a organization called Women Telling Their Business, and it was about sharing your business. But you don't have to air your dirty laundry. What I'm saying, but when you are going through something, somebody's about to go through a storm, or they're coming out of that same storm, or something similar, or they've been through it already. So when all hell breaks loose, we have to forge on. We have to. So I'm going to give you closing remarks, Deborah. Deb.
My thing is, I hope me coming on here and sharing the little that I have shared is helpful for someone. And if you ever want to reach out, do that. I can't tell you when I'll reach back, but I'll always have you in mind to reach back. I appreciate all that have come on to hear whatever it is that I said. Hope it was helpful to you. I'm glad my sister put me on. I didn't even fight this time.
She did not.
I just
She
came.
did not. She was sipping on a margarita drink. She did not fight. She did not have a problem at all. And
my fight is gone.
You're tired of fighting.
Yeah, I'm tired of fighting. So I don't really fight anymore. I just
do it.
I just
Was it fear
participate.
that you didn't want to? They say everything that you want is on the other side of fear, or you just tired of resisting.
Yeah, I've come to the non-resistant stage in my life. As I get older, things seem to get easier for me. I seem I seem to be more accepting of who I am, and
That's freeing, isn't it?
yeah, that is freeing. Freeing. Yeah, and art has given me that freedom, and my art friends and my art family, they have given me that freedom, and I appreciate it. So, yeah, I hope those that join got something from this. I did.
Yes, I did. I did. And thank you everyone for joining us.
Thank you to my little sister. She's my little sister.
I could tell some more stories, but I won't. Okay, you guys, thank you again for joining us. Appreciate you. Please go to Deborah's Facebook page and like Shedrick Studio. It doesn't cost a thing to follow someone, to like someone, please, if you haven't already. And we thank you for joining us, and we look forward to new creations that are coming. We look forward to
yes. I put
ahead.
myself under the gun. I accepted this project with the Tom Joyner Foundation. So now I have to do whatever this allows me to do.
They didn't even ask you this time. They just put you on the program. Yep. Right? They just put you on.
Well, they called and said, I was being discussed. So.
Well, this is what how many years have you been doing it?
I have no idea. Maybe 6.
That is an honor. That is an honor. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. So with that being said, you guys, again, thank you for joining us. And until next time.
Fake, be who you want to be. Cause what makes you unique is your identity. It's what makes up you and me. It's what makes up you and me. It's what makes up you and me. It's your identity. It's your identity. Yeah. It's what makes up you and me. It's what makes up you and me. It's your identity. It's your identity. It's what makes up you and me. It's what makes up you and me. It's what makes up you and me. It's your identity. It's your identity. It's what makes up you and me. It's what makes up you and me. It's what makes up you and me. It's your identity. It's your identity.